Right. So I wanted to make a video for our English friends because everyone needs to know the truth in every country. So let's begin. I'm going to talk about the cause of crisis under the current mode of production. Let's imagine the global material production. And let us imagine that this over here is the area of production which is responsible for the production of consumer products, consumer commodities. Right. So consumer products such as food, clothes, TV sets, fridges, building materials, and so on and so forth. So everything that we need in our everyday life. In order to produce all of that, in order to produce a fridge or a TV set, you need machinery, you need buildings, factory buildings, you need tools, etc. So this area over here, this area is responsible for the production of the means of production. And this area, the consumer products, this area is sort of consuming that area, right? It consumes the products which are being created over here. So over here we have production of the means of production. Machinery, tools, factory buildings, and so on. And both of these huge areas of global material production, in order to function, they need a certain amount of raw materials such as gas, coal, oil, steel, and so on and so forth. So this means that all of these areas are interdependent, and also that over here in the area of the production of consumer products, the commodities have to be sold all the time, right? All the time they have to be sold, every minute and every second. Because if they don't, if there is a pause, if there is a delay in sales for whatever reason, then surpluses begin to pile up, right? So surpluses. They begin to overcrowd the warehouses. This leads to additional expenses of the owners of the means of production. This leads to a catastrophic fall in price because everyone is trying to sell that product as soon as possible to get rid of the expenses. And so the price catastrophically falls down. And the only thing left to do for the owner of the means of production of that product, of that commodity, is to stop the production of it, is to cut production. And this also includes cutting the workforce, of course. So that's what they do. They shut down a certain amount of factories, a certain amount of plants, and so on and so forth. So this means that less means of production are being consumed now. Because if a fridge factory shuts down, this means that less machines are needed, less tools, and so on. So the surpluses begin to pile up here as well. Right, they begin to pile up. And of course, this means that in the area of raw materials, exactly the same thing happens. It's like a domino effect. So surpluses begin to appear here as well, because less of raw materials are being consumed now. So they begin to pile up, they begin to overcrowd warehouses and storage units. And so again, the only thing left to do is to cut production in all of these areas, is to stop or slow down the production so that the unsold products can gradually dissolve from the warehouses and from the storage units, and so that the price can be stopped from falling further, and maybe even leading to an artificial deficit, and this will raise the price and so on. So that's what happens during every single crisis under the current mode of production. That's why in Marxist political economy, it's no secret that all capitalist crises are crises of overproduction. So let's just write it here: all capitalist crises are crises of overproduction. And also I have to add that this overproduction is relative. It's not universal. It's only the products are only getting overproduced in relation to payable solvent demand. People don't have enough money to buy these products. They want to, but they don't have enough money. The purchasing power under the current of the majority of people under the current mode of production is confined within incredibly narrow limits. So this is part one of the video about the anatomy, the mechanism of all crises under capitalism. And the second part of the video, in the second part of the video, we are going to look at what was happening in the world in 2019, in 2020, and later. So thank you very much for listening, and see you in the second video. Bye bye.